In this video, we are going to find the center, vertices, and foci, aka foci, of an ellipse. And we're also going to do a quick sketch of the graph. Let us look at our problem. We have 5x squared plus 9y squared plus 10x minus 36y minus 4 is equal to 0. So the first thing we want to do is put this equation in standard form. So we have 5x squared plus 10x plus 9y squared minus 36y is equal to a positive 4. Now we're going to factor out a 5 with the set of numbers that are attached to the x. So if I pull out a 5, we get x squared plus 2x. And if I factor out a 9 amongst the numbers that are attached to the y, we get plus 9 times y squared minus 4y. And we still have that it's equal to 4. So now we need to complete the square inside of both binomials. So if I complete the square with the first set, we first want to take the number that is attached to the x, which is 2. We're going to divide it by 2, and we're going to square it. So that gives us 1 squared, which is equal to 1. So that is our magic number. So we have 5 times x squared plus 2x plus 1. I'm adding that number here. And we have to also consider the other side of the equation, which we'll get to that in just a moment. So again, I'm going to complete the square for the second binomial here. We have plus 9 times y squared minus 4y. I'm going to take the number 4. I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to square it, so that gives us 2 squared, which gives us 4. So I'm going to add the 4, okay? Now we also have to consider the right side of the equation. So since I added a 1, we technically added a 1 times the 5. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to add the 1 times the 5. And then here I added a 4, but technically we added 4 times the 9. So we need to add 4 times 9. Okay, so now let's just clean it up. So we have 5 and x squared plus 2x plus 1 factors into x plus 1 squared. And then we have plus 9 times x squared minus 4y plus 4 factors into y minus 2 squared. And let's sort of clean up the right side of the equation. We have 4 plus 1 times 5 plus 4 times 9. So that gives us 4 plus 5 plus 36, which gives us 45. So we're going to divide both sides by 45. So we get 5 times x plus 1 squared over 45 plus 9 times y minus 2 squared over 45 is equal to 1. Now we're just going to reduce our fraction, so we get x plus 1 squared over 9 plus y minus 2 squared over 5 is equal to 1. So right away we see that we have an equation in the form x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1, where a is greater than b. So right away we can go ahead and identify our center. Our center is equal to h comma k, which is equal to negative 1, 2. Okay, so we have our center. And how about our vertices? Our vertices will be h plus or minus a comma k, which gives us, well, our h is negative 1, so negative 1 plus or minus, our a squared is 9, but the square root of a squared is 3. So we get negative 1 plus or minus 3, and our k is 2. Okay? So that's going to give us negative 4, 2, and it's also going to give us 2, 2. So now we want to find our foci or foci, however you prefer to pronounce it. So here we have h plus or minus c comma k. Well, what is our c in this case? Well, our c is equal to the square root of a squared minus b squared, which is equal to the square root of 9 minus 5, which is equal to the square root of 4, which is equal to 2. So here we're going to say that we have -1 plus or minus 2, 2, which gives us -3, 2, and it also gives us 1, 2. Okay, so those are our 2 points for the foci. How about the endpoints of the minor axis? So for the endpoints, of the minor axis, we're going to have hk plus or minus b, which gives us, we have -1 and our k, which is 2, plus or minus b. Our b is the square root of 5. Well, the square root of 5 comes out to about 2.2, so we get -1, 2 plus or minus 2.2. So that's going to give us -1, 4.2, and also -1, -0.2. Okay? So now we are ready to graph. So if I were to graph this, the first thing I want to do is I want to locate my center. My center is at -1, 2. So if I go to -1 and up to 1, 2, and I'm going to put a dot right there. And now my vertices are going to be at -4, 2, and 2, 2. So I'm going to go left -4. So this is -1, -2, -3, -4. And I'm going to put it at -4, 2, and also at 2, 2. So this is 1, and this is 2, and there's 2, 2. And then our foci is at -3, 2. So here is -3 and up 2. And then we have another point at 1, 2. So here's 1, here's 2. And now the endpoints of the minor axis is at -1, 4.2. So we go -1 and up 4.2. So we get 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here's 5. So it's a little bit above 4. And then we go -1, 0.2. So here's -1. We're just going to go a little bit below the x-axis. And then now we're just going to go ahead and connect our dots like that. Okay? And that is how you find the center, the foci, and the vertices, and a quick sketch of the graph of an ellipse. Thank you so much for watching, and hey, you're awesome!